The year was 1915, and in a tiny, new settlement towards the north of the island of Hokkaido, an incident was about to take place that would go down in history as the most ferocious bear attack the country would ever see. It came to be known as the Sankebetsu Brown Bear Incident, and over a period of several days, the town was terrorized and 7 people killed. This one gets a little rough at times, so please be warned. Hokkaido was still in the process of being modernized at the time, and the Sankebetsu settlement, which was located close to the Sankebetsu River and about 1 kilometer inland from Hokkaido's west coast, was one of the many burgeoning villages and towns as the island was industrialized. It was a farming village that had only existed for roughly 1 year at the time, and the people who lived there were naturally aware that brown bears also resided in the mountains nearby. But because they rarely appeared near town, they didn't think much of them. Throughout November 1915, one of these brown bears, unable to hibernate because of its massive size, wandered down into the village 3 times and stole corn that was hanging from the eaves of the Ikeda house. Then, the Matsumura household was also attacked, and so 2 Matagi, hunters from Japan's northeast region known for their skills at hunting during winter, fired upon the bear. Although they hit it, the bear was only injured and not killed. They found the bear's footprints and described them as the largest they had ever seen. It also showed little fear of people, attacking several houses numerous times. This was no ordinary bear, and it was already cold enough to be snowing in Hokkaido, so the bear should have been hibernating. Why wasn't it? Fast forward to December 9. Morning. The men of the village were in the forest cutting down trees to build a bridge for winter traffic. While they were out, a large bear approached the Ota household. It's believed, once again, to steal the food they had hanging from the eaves. Yet inside was Ota's wife, Mayu, 34, and a 6-year-old boy she was caring for at the time, Hasumi Mikio. The boy was soon to be adopted as their son. The pair screamed when they saw the massive bear lurking just outside, and that was when it realized that they were inside as well. Nobody witnessed the attack, but it's believed that the bear went for the pair once it heard their screams, killing the boy and then mauling Mayu. She attempted to fight back, but the bear picked her up and dragged her into the forest. Strands of her hair were found caught in the window frame, meaning the bear likely dragged her out through the window first. Villagers arrived home to a scene of carnage, and a search party was quickly organized to find the missing woman. Roughly 30 villagers set out, and they encountered the bear again roughly 150 meters from the Ota house. The men fired, but only one of the guns actually went off. The bear escaped. They later found Mayu's body lying at the base of a Sakhalin fir tree, buried beneath the snow. The villagers took the remains back to the Ota house and a wake was held. Only 9 relatives attended. Villagers feared the bear would return now that it had found prey, and they were right. At 8:30 that night, the bear returned, bursting through the wall of the Ota house and flipping the coffins. It was apparently after the corpses, and there was the belief that the bear wished to reclaim its prey after the villagers had taken it from it. Those present ran and hid where they could, while one of the men grabbed a gun and fired. This once again startled the bear, and it ran off. Nobody died in the attack, but it was still far from over. 500 meters from the Ota house was the Myoke house. 1 man, 2 women, and numerous children gathered here, whilst the other villagers went out to hunt the bear, with assistance from other hunters nearby. Despite the gunshot scaring the bear off, it did not flee entirely, and at roughly 9 p.m. it returned, this time attacking the Myoke house, and everyone huddled inside. They had lit a fire, believing that the fire would keep the beast away, but it did not deter it. The bear tore through the household, killing 3 children and one of the women who happened to be pregnant at the time. She reportedly screamed at the bear to leave her stomach alone and go for her throat instead, but the bear ignored her, leading to 5 casualties that night. 3 others were also badly injured, with one of them dying 3 years later. At the time of the attack, the other woman, Myoke Yasutaro's wife, Yayo, escaped. She had been injured by the bear but was able to get out alive. She ran into some of the hunters looking for the bear and they realized they were on the wrong track, so they all sped back to the Myoke house. The bear was still inside, but it was too dark to see anything. They were unable to fire at it in the darkness, so they waited. One even suggested setting fire to the house with the bear inside, but Yayo refused, hoping that some of her children inside might still be alive. Around an hour after it attacked the house, the hunters lured the bear out and they fired. Again, they were unable to hit it, and it fled back into the forest. They soon discovered yet another scene of carnage inside, and the death toll had risen to 7. All women and children. The decision was made to evacuate the entire village right then and there. There was no telling when the bear might return, and it clearly had a taste for the villagers now. Those remaining lit torches and filed out into the bitterly cold Hokkaido night to evacuate downstream. Only a few men remained in the village. Ishigoro Saito, husband of the slain pregnant woman, had at the time been reporting news of the bear attack to local authorities. At the same time, Myoke Yasutaro had gone out to find an expert bear hunter in the area to request his help. This man felt sure he knew exactly which bear this was, calling it kesagake, a word meaning to slash someone diagonally from the shoulder. This bear had apparently killed 3 women from another village, but the hunter pawned his gun for money and so could no longer help. Both men returned to the village on December 11 and discovered that their families had been victims during their absence. They spent the night with the few remaining men, hoping to kill the bear if it returned, but the night passed quietly and without event. Meanwhile, news had spread further through the authorities, and this time, the Hokkaido government office organized a hunting party with soldiers and snipers to take the bear down. The men entered Sankebetsu on the evening of December 12, and a controversial plan was laid out. They needed to get rid of the bear, whatever the cost, and they suspected it would return for the victims like it had the first time. They would, therefore, use them as bait to lure the bear out and kill it. The bear did return that night, but as it approached the house where the men lay in wait, it seemingly sensed them inside. It peeked in, but did not enter. It simply returned to the forest. The plan was a failure. Instead, the bear spent the next day ransacking all the new empty houses, killing livestock and eating whatever food it could find now that there was no one around to stop it. The men realized the bear was getting more brazen and wouldn't stop, so they moved back to the ice bridge the villagers had been building and waited for it there. One of the snipers reportedly saw something dark moving through the shadows and called out to it. "Are you man or bear?" When there was no response, several men fired. The shadow ran off into the night. The following morning, December 14, almost a week after the first attack, the hunting team found blood where they had fired the previous night. They had apparently hit the bear, and they followed the blood trail into the forest. Yamamoto Heikichi, a skilled hunter from a nearby village, was the first to come across the bear as it sat beneath a Mizunara oak tree. He fired, hitting the bear in the chest and head. The bear was finally dead. They found a white pattern spreading from the bear's shoulder down across its chest, confirming that it was indeed the infamous kesagake. The bear was roughly 2.7 meters tall, 340 kilograms, and a male, roughly 7 or 8 years old. An autopsy confirmed remains in the bear's stomach. They had found the culprit. Witnesses to the bear's autopsy also claimed this was the same bear that had killed 3 women only a few days before the Ota house attack. The average brown bear for the area was said to be only 2.3 meters tall and 250 kilograms, making this one much larger than average. There was also a local belief that the white marking across the bear's chest indicated that it was a rare type of brown bear that was known to be far more violent than the average bear. At any rate, the bear claimed 7 lives throughout its rampage, with more dying from their injuries later on. those who survived eventually all moved out of the village, perhaps unable to live with the memories, and it rapidly became a ghost town. Stories then started to spread of the bear's curse. A storm struck the area immediately after it died, and the phenomenon came to be known as a bear storm. This was another local legend where the skies would suddenly grow dark and a violent storm would kick up after killing a bear. The son of a blacksmith in the area was also said to have eaten some boiled bear meat from the creature, and before long, he started to bite people and thrash around violently. He was taken to a temple and told that he had been cursed by the bear. The monks prayed for him and he eventually made a full recovery. Meanwhile, the son of the Sankebetsu village mayor, who was only 7 at the time of the attack, vowed that he would grow up and kill 10 bears for every victim that died in the attack. He became a prolific hunter who killed over 100 bears by his early 60s. After retiring, he built a shrine dedicated to those who died in the attacks. A stone memorial was also erected with 4 points of warning learnt from the attack. 1. Bears do not fear fire. Attempts to distract or repel the bear with fire did nothing. 2. Bears can form attachments to particular things. The bear continually targeted corn in particular, and was attracted to women's clothing after killing its first victim. 3. Bears will give chase if you flee, as it is their natural instinct to go after running prey. And finally, playing dead will do no good. It was true that several people initially survived by not moving, but this was simply because the bear was busy with others at the time, not because it thought they were dead. After all, it returned several times for the bodies of those it had already killed. Meticulous records were kept of the attack, ensuring that even today, over 100 years later, we still know almost the full details of what went on during that week of terror. A reconstruction was also built on the original site, featuring a life-size model of the bear, and a reconstruction of one of the houses, and what they looked like at the time, that you can still visit today. A nearby road was also dubbed Bear Road, and you can find all sorts of signboards featuring cute bears, having now become somewhat of a symbol in the area. But that's the story of the terrifying Sankebetsu brown bear incident. What did you guys think about this one? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.